Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where two idiots talk about movies. And today we will be discussing the 1994 film, The Next Karate Kid. And we have a very special guest today, Miss Tiffany Bartok.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Magnificent. I tried saying like three different words at once.
Fabulous.
Fabulous, magnificent.
Yeah.
Just a reminder that there are spoilers ahead for movies and TV shows that you might not have seen yet. So just know that you've been warned. Now, before we jump into our usual shenanigans, we want to just kind of ask you a couple questions, Tiffany, so that people can get to know who you are.
Sure.
So we'll start off with the basics, the simple ones, let everyone know kind of who you are, what you do, and what projects you've worked on.
Yeah, definitely. I am Tiffany Bartok. I live in Brooklyn, and my husband and I make movies, and I have a son that's going to be in high school in the fall.
Oh,
and
man.
I know. And the last movie that I made was a documentary about Kevin O'Quan, this makeup artist that was like a celebrity makeup artist, like the first celebrity makeup artist before it was, if you can imagine a world where, it wasn't all about the makeup artist.
Yeah.
And then before that, my husband writes narrative scripts and then directs, and then I produce those projects, and then he produces, and we do a documentary. So we've done a couple of films, Fall to Rise and The Cake Eaters and Larger Than Life, the documentary I was telling you about. But my background is as a makeup artist, so I still have that as a day job. Don't tell anybody. Until I can start earning a living as a director, it's going to have to be this way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that you worked with your husband. That's a nice little power duo.
It's like not everybody can do it. I don't know that we can, but there's tricks I can recommend for anybody who wants to try to work with it. I've got a little cheat book.
There you go. Everyone's got to pay a little extra for the book, though.
Yeah. It's an add-on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my boyfriend, who I live with, he's complete opposite side of the spectrum. He's in the medical field.
Oh,
so I don't know if him and I could ever really work together. I don't see where those two things would ever combine. Yeah.
Right.
Well, right. Great. Yeah, there you go. The next Grey's Anatomy, I'll be like, is this correct? Is this medically possible? What is happening?
Consultant. Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Well, I think Isaiah also has a question.
Yeah. Yes, I do. So, so your husband, you said, does narrative works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but you also do documentary. So I guess my question would be like, what's the difference between those two types of things? I know, like, obviously narrative, you have a script, you have stuff kind of like plans, where documentaries is kind of like, ooh, what are we going to get to in today? It's like, what's going to happen?
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. So he is super good at structure, characters, all of this stuff. But I like to could watch like paint dry. And then when something happens, then that's exciting to me. But like, I don't like to force anything to happen or like, so it makes for like a really difficult time pitching things because, they're just like, what's the pitch? What's the thing? Let's give you, why are you asking for money? And I'm like, I don't know, but there's something there and I need money to go find out what it is,
Yeah.
and he can pitch the whole thing and what he sees and the vision and everything, right? At the get-go. So it's right. It's not fair, but it is the way it is. I mean, now they're making documentaries that are already kind of planned out and mapped out because they've become so popular, I feel like. And so it's getting kind of lost, that whole idea of like, what are we going to find, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
No, I 100% agree. There is, I watch mainly a lot of like true crime documentaries.
Yep.
So most of it, like I just watched the Netflix documentary that just came out for Waco, the story on Waco.
Yep.
And that was just super interesting. And it's been done 1,000 times at this point. So it's like, what else can you do? But the way that they played out the story, it was really good.
It was good. That was really good. Yes.
Yes. I think there's a lot of, there's like two different types of documentaries. There's like what Isaiah was saying, where it's like, ooh, what's going to happen next? Where the people themselves who are filming the documentary find out as they go.
Yeah.
And there's the ones that's like, it's already been documented technically. We're just kind of covering it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I feel like the Werner Herzog is kind of like one of those guys of just being like, all right, give me a camera. We're going to go, I'll see in 6 months, figure it out.
Perfect example.
Discover it.
Yep.
There was a documentary, and I'm probably going to butcher so many of the facts on this, but I was listening to another podcast where they were talking about it. And it was a documentary crew that was on a boat, I believe, with a group of people. And originally they were going to shoot this documentary for something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that one of the people on the boat was a murderer or like killed someone or something on the boat. And so the documentary just flips like halfway through. And they're like, oh, we're going to shift to this much more interesting situation going on right now.
How lucky is that to get a murderer on your boat?
I mean, not lucky, but yes, lucky in another sense. But yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I remember hearing about it. I was like,
you gotta, if it comes to you at 5 a.m, you have to wake up and write it down for us.
Yes.
Now we're all going to want to watch that.
Everyone's invested.
For sure.
Now to kind of piggyback off Isaiah, I also have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So not a lot of the listeners know this, but you have your own podcast as well, which is why your audio sounds so pristine. So you have your own podcast called Behind the Look.
Yes. Look Behind the Look. Yes.
Yes. Can you tell us a little more about that and like what that's about?
Yeah. So I'm working on a documentary right now about Dita Von Teese. Do you know who that is?
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah, if you like look her up, you'll know her by her face.
I'm terrible with names.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I'm a face person, not a name.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. And she so when the COVID happened, that came to full halt, and I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? And so, like everybody has done, I was like, oh, what about a podcast? But my whole thing was that all the makeup artists were out of work. So like, so lucky from the Kevin O'Quan documentary that I get to, in my circle is kind of like these amazing makeup artists, and like nobody ever asked about them. Nobody was asking. They'd ask like, what products do you use? But never like, how did you come up with the idea of like, well, the first one I did was Casino, like that Sharon Stone look, that iconic look when she's at the craps table in Casino. And I put on Instagram, how did this look come to be? And the makeup artist was like, I'd love to tell you. So that was our first episode. And then I just started talking to everybody, and now it's sort of like, if you want to go for the Emmy or if you want to go for the Oscar or something, like you'll come on the show and actually tell us why it might look easy, but it was almost killed you, like
yeah.
way, like, it looks like Stranger Things is just like messing up little kids' hair, but it's actually like a nightmare.
Very well thought out.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's been pretty fun, but a lot of people, it's so frustrating, right? And I'm sure you can relate that like so many people stole this idea and just put it like on TikTok in like a 47-second version, like I'm like, wait a minute, did this person like listen to my episode, shorten it to 40 seconds and put it like in one of those TikTok green screen things, and now
Rude.
I want to kill them, but whatever. So I still keep going because, obviously I talk to them a lot longer and get more in depth and talk about their origin story. So it's pretty fun.
I mean, what you do is like, I wouldn't say not done before, but it's you do it way better. That
should be like the tagline. Like we do it way better.
I think that should be our tagline. We're like every other podcast,
but way better.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's really interesting, and I think there's not a lot of recognition that goes into all the time and effort put into it. There's Oscar, there's awards and everything for it, but I think people don't realize
why,
especially with movies where it's nothing like if you're like, I'm trying to think of an example, but a movie that's you don't think of makeup or like special effects makeup artists like doing a lot in those movies.
Right.
But that's like why they're nominated is because the subtlety, is that the word I guess I'm looking for?
If you notice it, then they didn't do their job,
Right.
Yeah. Because when you're watching those period ones and the wigs just look like
like horsehair, like
Halloween. Yeah. So
Spirit Halloween. Yeah.
It's an art for sure.
Yeah. My friend's, she's always been interested in it, but she's kind of stuck at this, she's stuck in Florida. There's not a lot here unless you move to like Tampa or Orlando. Those are kind of like our bigger film hubs. But she's down south. So she like loves all this kind of makeup stuff. So I'll have to definitely send this episode to her and your podcast and be like,
yes,
here you go. Enjoy.
I would love it. Yeah. Cause it's a lot of like break-in stories and stuff that she would like to hear. Like, cause people just don't know where do you start? Like, I want to do that, what do I do? And so I always have to guess about that.
That's awesome.
How did you fall into it then? What is your break-in story?
Yeah.
Like what is your break-in story? How did you fall into this like job? Because I don't think it's something like I was looking through Indeed and I found this and I was like, I'll take a shot.
So it was crazy. I went to school for musical theater in Philadelphia and got my degree in musical theater. So I was going to storm the stage and be a Broadway star and thought Broadway would be waiting for me. What are you waiting for? So I of course had to become a waitress. And then I was the worst waitress you've ever seen. Like I could not do it. I would like drop things. I forget to put your order in. Like I had no idea what I was doing. So I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like I can't survive. And I did like I used to space out in Bloomingdale's and just like look at things, And one day I go, how do I do that? Like, how do I do what you're doing, putting makeup on people? And she's like, you are not going to believe this. I need somebody tomorrow. And I was like, this girl just quit. And so she's like, just do the next couple faces that come through the thing so I can see that you're not crazy. And that was it, that I just started working at the Bloomingdale's Smashbox counter and then, had my eyes on that Mac counter and then had my eyes on movies and, so
that's awesome.
It was really like one of those fate things, like, thank God.
Yeah. And like, that just goes to kind of show that you don't have to immediately find a job in Hollywood. It's always like little steps.
Totally. Just do the next thing. Yeah. And it'll all add up. Yeah.
Who would have known that being bad at waitressing would get you to where you are now?
Exactly.
Well, thank you for answering our questions.
Of course.
Now everyone definitely go check out. After you listen to this episode, go over to Look Behind the Look and listen to her episodes.
Thank you.
Now, so we're going to kind of hop into our next segment, which is This Week in Hollywood, where we kind of talk about like the latest updates in the movie industry. Some are ridiculous. Some are actually worth noting. So Isaiah and I are kind of just going to riff back and forth. So you're welcome to kind of pop in and make any comments or anything if you want to.
Got it.
So we're going to hop into everyone's favorite segment, This Week in Hollywood. That wasn't bad,
All right.
right, Isaiah?
He's gonna roast you. I can't wait for the roast.
I know he's gonna text me later and be like, "Dude, you gotta stop, please."
Subpar. 3 out of 5.
All right, Isaiah, go ahead.
Yeah, so first headline for today. The writer strike is still ongoing. However, recently there's been a major update in the strike. The SAG, is it AFTRA? Is it actually AFTRA or is it AFTRA?
SAG-AFTRA, yeah.
SAG-AFTRA, okay. Members have voted to overwhelmingly authorize yet another strike on their behalf for the upcoming contracts talks to fail to produce a satisfactory agreement by June 30th, meaning not only will the writers be on strike, so will the SAG actors and actresses. The vote revealed June 5th was a 97.91% in favor of the strike. So everybody said, nah, we're going to strike.
Yeah.
According to the union, nearly 50% of all eligible members voted. So that is a lot of people that said, yeah, we're standing.
Yeah. Which is that I'm hoping that this step will kind of make them finally do something, because it's been at the day of recording. I think this is day 35 or day 36.
Yeah.
And it's June 6th right now.
Yeah, the studios are really not wanting to pay people. But when you got people who write your shows who make you hundreds of thousands of dollars living out of their car, it's not right.
Now, I'm going to ask this, Tiffany. Are you or your husband a part of the WGA? I just thought about that.
So Jace was. He is no longer. And that was crazy story. They just kicked him out. It was the weirdest thing. They wanted to, I shouldn't be saying this, but
you can cut it out if you want. Yeah, we can cut it out.
Just don't make an audiogram of it.
Well, we're gonna blast it all over TikTok.
It was the weirdest thing. They wanted, believe, and don't quote me on it, but they wanted money. They wanted a cut of what the project that got him in the union. So it was almost in the past. It was not the right thing to do. Yeah. So he stood up for himself, and that was not a good idea. You don't do that. So they were
note to self: never stand up for myself.
Yeah. In fact, I think somebody called him in the middle of the night and whispered, his manager, just pay the 3% or whatever.
Oh my God.
But it was a really terrible year. I remember that year. And so he was wait a minute, I can't, this isn't right, So he paid the dues and everything, but he just it wasn't right to pay this percentage. So they said, we'll just get you on the next one. Man, we're done here. Here's your dues money back. But SAG, he's been in forever, and I've been in SAG. As well, and then my son's in SAG. It's hilarious. Since he was 7 years old, he's been getting screeners. It's the funniest thing. I'm okay, my 7-year-old son has his Ozark screeners now.
Nothing to brag about.
I know, it's so funny. But so we, my husband's a huge union guy, but I kind of see both sides sometimes, which is not a popular discussion in our household.
Oh, everyone's we're not going to watch her podcast now.
I know, right? So,
I agree with you. So,
right? As a producer, I see both sides. I'm not saying I side with the other side. I'm just saying they're not crazy. People aren't crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's always two sides to the coin.
Totally. I mean, there are things that are absolutely crazy, the fact that these poor actors have to keep doing these relentless self-tapes and they won't pay for the casting. And my husband is he's on the TV doing commercials that he's making in his house. I mean, in the sound booth. And that thank God, right? But now everybody's back to work, so you have to pay the neighbors to be quiet. It's not a studio.
It's not.
The fresh direct truck is here.
Yeah. Can the lawn service across the road stop for a second? Yeah. I get that.
Exactly. So some things definitely need to change for sure. But striking is so hard because nobody can work.
I know. It's a shame too. And I don't think people especially people who are not familiar with the industry or who are not in it, don't realize what the outcome could be if this strike were to continue, or if the contract isn't agreed upon and stuff. Like, you say goodbye to a lot of your favorite shows.
Yep. The reality shows are waiting in the wings. Like, it's really hard.
We talked about this the other
Right?
week. We're like, this is the last time this happened. That's where the Kardashians kind of came into play. Like,
it's hard to get leverage in this world, you know, when it's like Ariana on Vanderpump, God bless her, is like making the most money in the world right now.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it's wild. I love Vanderpump, so.
Well, let's move on to the next headline. Otherwise, we're going to be here forever. So, complete opposite topic. A24, my favorite production company, has a new horror film on the horizon, and it is called Talk to Me. YouTube sensations Michael and Danny Filippo, I might be pronouncing your last name wrong, I apologize. More importantly known as Raka Raka. Does that sound familiar, Isaiah?
On YouTube, yes.
Yeah. Are making their directorial debut for this horror movie.
Interesting. It's like Markiplier making...
Not even Markiplier. They're not... I don't recall Raka Raka. Like, I remember Raka Raka being big when I was like a kid, like a teenager. They did the McDonald's man, like those videos.
Yeah, like very interesting for them to go do a horror movie.
Yeah. And an A24 film, as of all things. That's a big job.
It's like you have two dudes who do like unhinged, insane comedy, like slapstick comedy, but like in real life, versus like intellectual horror.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But the film got rave reviews when it was screened at the 2023 Sundance Festival for its originality and ghastliness. So A24 picked the film up, and it is slated for a summer release of July 28th, 2023. So it's coming up. And you can find the trailer online. I checked it out. It looks like, to me, a standard horror film. I'm kind of surprised it's an A24 film. But you never know. It is A24. There's probably some crazy shit in there that we just don't know about.
What is this? It says Talk to Me 2022 as well, which is the same synopsis. So is it based off
So I'm assuming they created the film that went into the Sundance Festival. I'm assuming is the 2022 one. And then A24 picked it up and was like, we're going to make this big.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when a movie premieres at Sundance, they consider that the original release date for some reason.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like there's a few movies that you're like, oh, it says it came out 2 years ago. And it's like, no, that was when it came out in Cannes or Sundance.
Interesting.
The actual date is to be this day.
The more you know.
You can be born twice.
Yeah, in the industry for sure.
Can I get a review for this podcast that says ghastliness? I would like to have that. Just what a word.
I love I love listening to Silver Screen Sips for their ghastliness and originality. Isaiah, take the lead.
For our next headline, Zack Snyder, and he's back, is currently working on his upcoming Netflix space opera, Rebel Moon. The director has confirmed online speculation surrounding the film, stating that it will be split into 2 films with multiple cuts to be released for each installment. Yikes. He explained that the first will be one that anyone can watch and enjoy, with the second for each installment to be more adult-oriented.
He's just doing the Zack Snyder cut again. That's what I'm hearing.
It seems like Netflix is just going to let this man do whatever the hell
He's just going to take over to Netflix.
They really just said
all Zack Snyder.
He said, no rain. Here's like $600 million. Go hog wild. Have fun.
Yeah.
You want to release the same movie 4 times? Who cares? We're experimenting.
That is crazy. I mean, you do you, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like, if you want to do it, then go for it. But the thing is, it's not going to be just 2 films. Because yes, it is split into 2 films, but there's multiple cuts of each one. So there's going to be like 6 or 7 of these. I just don't understand how much Zack Snyder content you need. Now, Captain America 4 is currently in production and has been retitled to Captain America: Brave New World. Marvel Studios announced the title change for its upcoming movie on social media, alongside a first look photo of Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford on the film's set. The new Marvel movie comes out May 3rd, 2024. So you can find that photo if you have an Instagram, which you should.
And you should be following us on it.
You should be following us on it. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. You can find it on there.
Now, more comic book stuff, and is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles originally comic?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I know there's a comic line. I just don't know if
you grew up like you were a little boy. You had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No.
You didn't?
No, it's not. I mean,
what did you grow up with? Because there's always like that, like when you're like, oh, I was a blah 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 kid.
Right.
I don't know if it was I mean,
you're like Power Rangers.
There was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show. And when I say the TV show, I mean that in like the weirdest term possible, because it was like 4 different TV shows on like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or something. But it was the same exact TV show. So there was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then after like 3 seasons, they ended up coming out with like 3 new seasons, and it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back to the sewers or something. And it was the same, but it was the same cast, same show. It was just a different name. And then they ended up and then like 3 more seasons, they ended up in like a time portal and ended up in the future. If that was still the same TV show, but it had a different name as well.
What?
So
see, this is why I never watched these shows, because there's just so many.
They're hard. The turtles.
The turtles.
It's difficult.
It's really complex. Yeah. I think I can confidently say I was a SpongeBob kid.
Yes.
SpongeBob kid. I feel like you just called yourself stupid, but I'll agree.
No.
Anyway. Okay, a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series from Seth Rogen is reportedly in the works after Mutant Mayhem, the movie that's coming out. Will be the first in a number of Ninja Turtle projects that are in the works, and comes to theaters, and the movie will be coming into theaters soon, but will subsequently stream on Paramount Plus along with the other Ninja Turtle projects. Now, I have my issues with Paramount Plus. I think they're getting bought by Showtime or something.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they're getting... Now, Showtime... Now, it's weird, because like, so you have Paramount Plus, right, which has probably the worst UI next to the Modern Warfare 2.
I was just about to say.
And Showtime, I mean, their UI is a little bit better, but like by a margin, because it's very bare bones. Like the only thing it does is just get the job done. It does nothing special. So I don't know. Maybe Paramount will finally get an upgrade on their UI. I don't know, because their UI was just straight up broken. Interesting.
I don't have Paramount Plus, so I don't.
It for like week for the Halo TV show. I saw how god awful it was and canceled it.
Also, it comes into theaters in August. That's how soon it is. So a couple months. Now, lastly, to bring it back to Marvel once again, Spider-Man 4 is still being planned by Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures. Now, actor Tom Holland said he will only return on one very difficult condition. So basically, unless they can outdo Spider-Man No Way Home, Holland says Peter Parker can, quote, swing off into the sunset, end quote.
Oh my God, I'll cry.
And like, at this point, it doesn't sound as if Holland has fully signed on for a new contract with Marvel or Sony. But they're currently like testing the waters about Spider-Man 4 to see if they can kind of do anything with it. But given how No Way Home ended, I think we deserve a Spider-Man 4. I don't know about you guys.
Big fans here.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm behind right now. I never saw the new Thor or Ant-Man. I think the last one. Yeah, I know. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy. That one I actually need to go see.
Oh my God. I had the worst experience with that movie.
How so?
Well, it's a spoiler.
Oh, well then don't tell me.
Okay.
Because I think I know what the spoiler is, because I think it already got spoiled for me. But I obviously social media sucks, and people decide to post spoilers like immediately after the movie comes out.
Yes.
But it was like not spoilerish enough where it was like 100% without a doubt, this happens in the movie. It was oh, I left crying, and it was like a picture of something. And I was like, wait, this could mean a lot of things.
Right.
So
someone's trying to leave hints, but with like a bunch of emojis and be like, you'll get it when you see it.
yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, if I just stay away from, like, if I see anything with Guardians of the Galaxy, I just scroll as quickly as I can. But it's getting harder as time goes on. Is there any way you can say your story without spoiling it?
Okay, well, yes, there is a mild way. So Jace's directorial debut, Fall to Rise, had Chuck in it, who is the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy. And this was his first movie, Jace's.
What's that actor's name?
Chuck, please forgive me. Iwiji.
He's the eyebrow kid, right?
Isn't
that the villain?
No.
Who am I thinking of?
It's the high. Oh my god, the high.
Yes.
Council, whatever it is. The high evolutionary. That's what it's called.
Oh, I'm thinking of Adam Warlock.
Oh, okay.
No.
Is he not? Oh, so he's not the main villain.
No. It's Chuck.
Ah, okay. So that did not get spoiled for me, but that I don't care about. That's not the spoiler I was worried about. So you can tell me that
right away. He's like, "Hi, I'm the villain."
Okay.
Okay. And he he's like a prince. Like, he's just amazing. He's such a sweet guy. And, this was his first job, and it got him, in the States, and da-da-da-da-da. And we were so happy for him. And, I'd see his progress and everything. All of a sudden, he's literally, plastered all over Variety and hugging James Gunn. And I'm like so excited for him, and I'm so happy for him.
That's awesome.
He came on the podcast, and he's talking about the makeup and everything. And I'm just like how people are humble, still that I would just still ask him to do that. And he volunteered to do it and showed up and everything. And then I take my son to go see it. And he was like, I can't believe what a villain, like it was the worst kind of villain you could possibly imagine. He goes, I keep thinking of all your I'm proud of you posts. And he was like, oh,
I can't condone this.
I just went on Facebook and I was like, before you take your children to see this movie, please email me.
Oh man.
It was just like, he was not was expecting this guy to be just like a typical villain, but he was like the worst one he had ever seen. Man. So it was tough.
Now you're making me really want to go see it. Because what you're saying isn't even. So have you seen it, Isaiah?
No.
Okay. Well, then I won't say what I think the spoiler is. Anyways, yeah, I think the last one I saw was Multiverse of Madness, and I was sadly disappointed with it.
That was tough, yeah.
I was really I was so hyped for that. And then I really feel like they did Elizabeth Olsen dirty in that movie.
Yes.
I really loved Wanda, her character was amazing. And then they kind of just made her kind of not one-sided, but it was just all that build up from WandaVision, and then it was just fell flat. I think even she said herself in interviews that she was not a fan of how her character turned out. I think there's actually an interview where she was like, I even said to the directors, have you seen WandaVision? This is not at all what is going on.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I digress. So that concludes This Week in Hollywood. You can find all of our sources cited on our Discord channel, which if you're not a part of our Discord channel, what are you doing with your life? So now we're going to move on to Big Lou's Big Brews. Obviously, Lewis isn't here, so I'll be doing it this time. Now, this was brought to us by Lewis, so I'm going to try and not butcher any of the ingredients in these because
he always chooses the most ridiculous names.
The hardest ingredients. Okay, I can pronounce all these words. Okay.
Are you sure? Because, there's a few English ones you don't really do.
Yeah. Alrighty. Today's drink, brought to you by Big Lou, is the Boston Cocktail. Now, in this drink...
Should have been Brooklyn Cocktail.
Yeah, right? So in this drink, we have quite a few ingredients. We have 1.5 ounces of London dry gin. We have also 1.5 ounces of apricot brandy,
Ugh.
1/2 ounce of lemon juice, and 1/4 ounce of grenadine. So all you got to do is gather all your ingredients, pour the gin, brandy, lemon juice, and grenadine into a cocktail shaker, shake well, strain into a chilled cocktail glass, and enjoy. Super simple.
That is simple. And I don't like anything in it.
Now there's a little brief description based off of this too. So it says London dry gin and apricot brandy come together in the Boston cocktail for a delightful little drink. The botanical aspects of the gin shine against the fruity sweetness of the brandy and grenadine, while the recipe's lemon balances everything out for a bit of tartness. The finished flavor is a little more on the sweet side than some people may enjoy, though adjustments can be made. And on the other hand, if you are one of the drinkers with a little bit of a sweet tooth, Isaiah,
That's me.
but don't want to go overboard, this is a great gin cocktail to try. Now, this, of course, ties into the next Karate Kid because it all takes place in Boston. Boston cocktail, Boston, there's your connection.
Nice.
Very creative. So what are you guys thinking about it? Does it sound like something you would order? No?
I don't think so. I give it like a
Really?
2 out of 5. I give it like a 2 out of 5.
Wow.
I like gin, but it's dry. I don't like dried liquids because that exists somehow.
Yeah.
Apricot, no. The only good things are lemon juice and grenadine, and that's what do you call it? Juice and syrup. So
So you don't like apricots?
no.
Tiffany, what do you think?
Guys, I'm so bad. I don't drink.
You don't drink? Ooh.
You know, you're not our first guest to say that.
So I can't even relate because all I would drink when I drank was vodka and cranberry juice and Diet Coke and
Oh,
and
no.
Cranberry. Let's go.
It's been a while.
Oh, man. That's okay.
This is why I lost my privileges, clearly.
So you'll be drinking the lemon juice and grenadine with Isaiah then.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing.
Happily.
The Virgin Boston cocktail.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So 0 out of 5 or like
An NA out of 5?
yeah, NA. No answer.
Yeah, a two.
A 2. 2 for the 2 out of 4 ingredients.
Exactly.
All right. Well, then I guess I'll give it a rating as well. I think I like gin. I think I've had a couple different cocktails with gin in it, but I've never had just gin straight up. I do agree that dry gin, anything dry is just not like a dry wine. Yeah, it bothers me, that like weird feeling in your mouth.
Vermouth. Hate it so much.
Vermouth, yeah. I just love the word vermouth. Yeah, because it sounds like you're trying to say vermouth. But with like a lisp. So it's like vermouth. Like, I don't know why. That's the only way I can hear it. But I mean, I think I'll give it a 3 out of 5 because I like 3 out of the ingredients.
Nice.
I mean, it sounds like I don't think I would really order it just because gin's not like when I go to a restaurant or something, I normally order like something whiskey related. This does sound a little bit sweeter. So yeah, I'll give it like a 2.5. I changed my mind. 2.5. Try again, Lewis. Do better next time. But yes, thank you for partaking in Lewis's segment, I guess.
Lunacy.
Yeah.
Lunacy. Get it?
Oh, I see what you did. Wow, so clever. Now, before we continue, Isaiah, do you mind taking a second to thank our sponsors?
I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor for today's episode, Shaker and Spoon. It's a monthly subscription service that gives you bar quality recipes and ingredients designed by award-winning mixologists. Their latest box, Born to Rum Jamaica box, 5 out of 5 name, by the way.
Yeah.
Features amazing cocktail recipes for rum lovers, just like me. If you'd like your very own subscription, then head on over to shakerandspoon.com and use promo code SIPS10 for $10 off. That's, again, SIPS10 for $10 off. Go get some rum and go rum away. Ha!
The fact that you got a laugh makes me really like feel defeated here.
I'm gonna rum away from the problems. Okay.
There it is. Okay, so today I have a question.
Do you know?
Oh, yes. So Beth's question of the day is our next segment, which I usually ask a fun question or I create like a little game or something revolved around the film we're talking about. So today's is a little wonky because it was a tricky movie. I'm going to be straight up. It was a tricky movie to come up with a question or like some fun question to ask because it was just spoilers. I didn't like the movie. So, but we can talk more about that later. So my question is this. So a huge part of the plot is about Julie saving a hawk. Angel is her name, and helping it recover from a broken wing. And it like practically becomes her pet because she takes care of it and it lives in a cage, and then she tries to set it free, but it comes back.
Oh my God.
So that leads me to my question, which is, have either of you ever rescued an animal before? And if so, I want all the details.
I cannot.
I was like, okay. If not, I have a backup question.
I cannot say that I have.
Really? Tiffany, you've never saved an animal before?
It's my son is obsessed with rescuing annoyingly tiny things like one was a bat. I'll never forget it.
What?
I know.
How do you even catch a bat?
He was like, is it a bird? Is it a dying bird?
It's not a bird. It's an ugly bird.
I know. I was like, run away, get away. And no. And then my husband like enabled the whole thing, had them call a lady. She came. I know. And then of course it didn't survive. And they had this duty to tell you that it doesn't. It was the longest process ever.
Oh my God. A bat. I was not expecting a bat. It's always like, it was a raccoon on the side of the road or a squirrel, but a bat.
No. And I'm not lying when I tell you it was twice.
Twice.
That's hilarious.
And like he's like obsessed with like, wanting to be the hero, and it never works out.
I used to, when I was a lot younger, I used to go out back when like kids would go out and play.
Right.
I used to go find random dogs and just bring them home. Most of them were pets, and I just thought I was rescuing them. And I would bring them home, and my mom was like, "Bethany, that's not your dog." I'm like, "But Mom, he was outside. He's lost." She was like, "He has a tag on him. I'm pretty sure he knows where he." I was like, "But he was in someone's yard." Like, yeah, it was probably his owner's. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You've never saved an animal, Isaiah? Not even like a lizard?
Not really. It is funny
What kind of human are you?
I don't know. Never run into an animal.
Yeah.
And I didn't steal my neighbors.
No gators you want to save?
No. The only way I can save them is I feed them, and that be with my entire self.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a gator, Tiffany, being in Boston?
Are you kidding me? A gator? I've seen a million. And because I go to stupid Mexico with those alligator crazy places that should be illegal. And I'm like, my husband will just drive over. He'll see one on the side of the road and actively go. Like,
man.
Like one of these places that should not exist. There's
no regulations, nothing.
No.
They're like, "You want to pet him?" And you're like, "No."
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I love to go to Mexico. I love it so much. But the alligator part, I don't understand why my husband's so obsessed with them. Why does he have to pursue the alligators?
Yeah. They are not to be played with.
No.
That's for sure. There's a spring not far from here that I plan on going to this summer, actually. And you can kayak or canoe like right there in the springs. and there's just gator and like people swim in the water and there's just gators in the water. And I'm like, I'll kayak and canoe because I'm in a boat, but I don't think I could swim knowing that there's like a gator 10 feet from me.
No.
Even though there's never been, like they even say on their website, there's never been an incident with any of the gator. I'm like, yeah, but you just need that one time. You just need that one time where someone's stupid and it's like, oh, let me poke them and see what happens. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And also they're lying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more like it. That sounds more like it. Just lying. Yeah. Well, Isaiah, since you've never saved anything, I had a question for those who haven't rescued anything. If you could have any animal as a pet, what would it be? And you can answer too, Tiffany. If it can be any animal. It has to be a real one. So don't say like a unicorn.
I've always wanted a Cocker Spaniel, but I feel
thought you were going to say cockroach. I was like, what?
no.
Okay, a Cocker Spaniel. They're cute.
I mean, my dog is super cute, but like, so I feel bad saying that, but just, I want one too.
What kind of dog do you have?
He's a mini Aussie Shepherd. He's so funny.
Oh, I love those. I want one so bad.
Oh, I highly recommend. They are very easy and so funny.
Isaiah, what about you?
I have no clue. Oh, I've always wanted a cat. I wanted a munchkin cat. I know someone's yelling at me right now. Yes, I know they're deformed. Yes, I know it's technically an abomination to nature, but they're adorable.
So are pugs.
Have you seen their paws? Have you seen?
They are cute.
They're adorable.
Now, I was hoping with this question that you guys would say something a little less common than a dog and a cat. I was like thinking like you guys would be like, oh, I'd want a shark or like a dolphin or something. You're like, oh, a dog and a cat.
I'll give you a red panda. How about that?
There you go. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Good.
Yeah.
Maybe a fox would be fun.
Foxes. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was my question for the day. My animal I rescued. I've rescued quite a few in my life. I've rescued a raccoon with one eye. Yeah. A duck, which the duck's probably the biggest one because a mother duck laid a batch of eggs in our yard, and then the mother got attacked by a raccoon. Not the same raccoon, a different raccoon. Yeah. Whoa. That's like a whole drama story right there.
So that raccoon lost the eye because the duck.
Yeah. No, but the mom didn't make it. So my sister and I we took all the eggs and we made it like a at-home incubator. And only one egg survived out of like the dozen that we had. So we named him Spike and we raised him. I don't know what the correct term is there. Until he was kind of like too big for our tub, like our sink for water and stuff. And then we gave him to a wildlife rescue organization that was like not far from us. So that's like the biggest one. And then actually a couple weeks ago, I saved a possum.
Wow.
Yeah. It's probably not the smartest things to be doing because I'm sure they all have rabies. And I'm just like picking it up with my bare hands.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, like.
Absolutely.
All right. So Isaiah.
That'd be me.
I'm curious if you actually were able to come up or find any facts about this movie.
You know, it's funny you say that because
you did or you didn't?
I did.
Oh,
I only have 4.
Oh, wow. Okay. Like that might be the lowest amount.
It is. And and this is not a quality over quantity moment.
Oh, like, no. This is just nothing.
Just a few that's like, that's interesting. That's about all I can get you.
Okay.
I could not find anything on this damn movie. It is so weird.
I was unaware it even existed until we started doing this season.
I hate going to like the IMDb trivia page because all that stuff is filled with like either repeated facts, like they'll have like the same fact on there like 16 times, or it'll have like unverified facts, and I'm like, okay, let me confirm this fact actually exists. And it turns out it's like, oh, I got it from fandom.com. I'm like, cool, where did they get it from? And I got it from IMDb. I'm like, okay, it's just
it's a loop.
Yeah, like cool. So I don't know if that is even true. So I have to like try to search it up. But even on the IMDb page, there was only like 4 of them on there. So I'm like, damn, nobody cares about this.
Yeah.
So which sucks. Now, to get started, Hilary Swank, the main star of this movie, was only 18 when she auditioned and beat out 500 other people who were auditioning.
Really?
That is a lot. That is a lot of people. Yes.
That is a lot.
Now, she originally thought she was auditioning for Daniel's girlfriend, which the 4th movie means 4th love interest.
Yeah.
But she actually found out she was being the main character after going to a screen test. So she basically auditioned, was like, that's weird. Showed up to the screen test and they said, oh, you're gonna do some karate. We're gonna see how you are on screen. And it's like, oh, I'm the main character. Like, yeah. And like, oh, okay.
I mean, that's pretty, like, I wouldn't say slick of her, but like to just be like, oh, okay, I didn't even know.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, despite a 7% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
Yes, this has a 7%.
Wow.
And when it was released, it was absolutely panned by critics.
Wow.
This is actually still considered Hilary Swank's like breakout role.
Oh yeah, I can only think of like this movie, which I didn't even know she was in this until I watched it, and then I remember literally texting Isaiah and be like, "The fuck, Hilary Swank's in this?" It's this and what is it, $1 Million Baby?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Boys Don't Cry.
Oh yeah.
She's
in that as well.
Yes, that's her first Oscar.
Oh, I'm not a huge Hilary Swank. I don't know a lot about her. This was my first movie.
So
I'm just getting into the world of Hilary Swank.
Well, don't go too far. There's two Oscar nominations, and for both of those nominations, she won.
Oh wow,
crazy! She's a winner.
Yeah, I mean, good for her. More than me.
It was not this film. She was not nominated.
No, I would be amazed. Which I have lots to say on her performance in this movie. Not necessarily bad, but you'll see.
So this is our first movie. Everybody agreed, like, yeah, this movie is terrible. But Hilary Swank was kind of like the best part of it. Like her acting was.
I beg your pardon. Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, that's true. Mr. Miyagi.
I was like,
Mr. Miyagi's grade A all around, always.
Yeah, true.
Definitely.
And so, this is also Walton Goggins' first role as well. He plays one of like the weird Nazi kids in the movie. And if you don't, he also I think he also goes on to win like 2 more Oscars after this.
Wow.
Is that the boy who was like, I don't know what their class was. It was like, what was it, like ROTC or something? Like, what was it, like a
regime
police academy thing? I don't know.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's he's not Eric, the one who's
right. He's like
him.
The one that's like, he's already down. Like, why are you picking him up or something? He said that was that him?
Yeah, he's the one holding Eric, not the one who's kicking him.
Right. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so this was his first movie too, and he goes on to win 2 more Oscars, which is crazy.
So basically, you just have to be in this movie, and you're deemed to have 2 Oscars.
That is true. And for our last fact, our good old Pat E. Johnson, the student of Chuck Norris, he turned to train Hilary Swank for the movie. Who Swank apparently was she was very athletic. Like she actually had like athletic stuff in high school, so she was already like ready to go. But then he trained her for like 3 months, and she had like a rigorous training program. And he was so impressed with how fast she learned that he was like that. If she, with like 6 months of training, she could be on like a national circuit. So he was just like, holy crap! Wow. So he gave her a special pink belt.
Pink?
He gave her a pink belt.
It's a little sexist.
Yes. As is this entire movie.
Oh my God. We can talk about that. Yes. That I didn't even write that down because I knew I would remember. But yeah. Is that the last fact?
That is the last fact. That is all I have
Wow.
for you today because this movie,
Short and sweet.
unlike this movie.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your facts, Isaiah. I will say with the Hilary Swank fact you just shared, you can tell that she had training. I will say that. I'll give her that credit. Is like she didn't look like someone who was just there to be there. She actually like moved well. It was flowing pretty smoothly. Of course, there's just corny moves that she did, but she did them well. And of course, I mean, like when she is in $1 Million Baby, and that's also a very heavy action packed or stunt, I should say stunt heavy film. So I guess it's kind of up her alley or kind of her thing, I guess. I don't know. I do want to watch $1 Million Baby. That's definitely on my list of movies to watch, but maybe not the others.
Oh no, you have to watch Boys Don't Cry.
Oh yes, that one too.
Yes. But yeah, that's
it. Now we can talk about the film. Now we can discuss
sexism.
Yeah, now we can talk about sexism. Who would like to kind of go first on their thoughts and opinions? I feel like Isaiah should go first because I feel like Tiffany and I are just gonna go on forever.
about yeah, sure, why not?
Go for it.
I'm gonna just right off the bat, I gave it a 1 out of 5.
Oof.
Yeah,
okay.
I had a very big dislike for this movie. The thought that
7%, would you say?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's worse than Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wow.
Hold up, I gotta check that.
That's impressive.
Airbender movie. Oh nope, sorry, it's 2%. I'm sorry. Last Airbender has 5%. It's 2% higher than Last Airbender.
Man, wow. That's crazy.
That's sad. Anyway, but yeah, it's just as bad. All of the dialogue is super clunky and it's just filled with exposition. It's so annoying. Like literally, one of the first lines that Hilary Swank says is, "My parents were killed in a car accident. They're both dead."
I wrote that exact same thing down. I was like, "Thanks for the blatant exposition." Literally within the first 5 minutes.
Damn, man, you couldn't have show me like a picture of her crying, looking at like a picture of her parents. Like I'd get that, but no, you gotta be so straightforward. That was so and the rest of the dialogue is just super cheesy sometimes. I'm like, what is that sentence? No one says that. No one talks like this. Who is saying these words?
Which you gotta give some slack for 80s films, but this is the 90s actually. I shouldn't even say 80s films anymore. Yeah. So they don't have as much reasoning behind their cheesiness. Yeah. But I do agree. I think that's my issue with a lot of one of my biggest pet peeves with films is when they baby feed you in exposition and they don't just let you put the pieces together. They're like, no, this is what's happening. This is the story. We're just going to tell you because you're not smart enough to put it together.
The rule is what, show don't tell, and all they did was tell.
Yeah.
And they told you to your face. Like if she could have 100% looked at the camera and said that, then I would have been okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Now the school Nazi regime that is here, right? With the yin and yang Nazi thing. What the hell was going on? What is this?
I don't know what you mean by that because I didn't get Nazi. I just thought they were some weird school. I thought it was a school monitors, but on steroids.
It was the police academy, but they all wore black and wore patches like Nazis. So I was
I don't know if that was intended then or not.
I don't know either, but they were just all I felt was this is a Nazi regime here. They're the Gestapo. They're just hanging out, enforcing things that don't need to be enforced, and just terrorizing people for no reason. And then also the main guy is super rapey for no apparent reason. It wasn't
yeah, he was weird. He made me really uncomfortable. I was I don't like this character's not even he wasn't like comically bad like the others were. He was just like
Terry Silver over him anyway.
Yeah, Terry Silver's my favorite.
It was so weird. And now I get that like her parents are dead. We all know that.
Yeah. I missed that part. Sorry.
Yeah, they call it. But she's like angsty and just bitchy and just nasty for no apparent reason. Like I understand, okay, you're angry that your parents are dead. But like you're like being did they not teach you any type of manners before they died? What the hell? You're just being absolutely rude to every single human being that ever comes across you. Like,
do we know how old she was when they died? Or does she not even state that part of the story?
Out of all the straightforward expositions, they didn't explain when they died.
Didn't explain. Oh man.
And then and then like just a lot of things happen. And it's like, wow, this is despite the fact this is Karate Kid, they're trying to suspend my disbelief to a level that is so far beyond I can comprehend.
Yeah.
Like my suspension of disbelief should not be the equivalent of like Avatar for a movie about a kid learning karate. Like this is not the equivalent.
Yeah.
And then for some reason I feel like every relationship in the movie is underdeveloped. They kind of just force everything. Every scene kind of seems like it doesn't last long enough to give away to get the point across of what they're trying to do, or like what the message is, or like the scene, like the point of the scene, right? Like a point of a scene would be, oh, she is developing a friendship with the monks or something. But like every single scene in the monastery would end like a few minutes too short to actually establish anything. So it would kind of start off like, oh, okay, she's gonna have like a little bit of banter with the monk, and then the scene will like cut and then go to somewhere else.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
Yeah, so everything felt underdeveloped. And then also just more random crime that nobody calls the cops on.
Yeah, dude, they completely committed arson at the end of the film when they blew the guy's car up. I was like,
oh, he got into a car accident. There's oil everywhere. What do you mean? How are you going to get away with that? I'd be like, oh, yeah, he just got into a car accident and, and didn't die. And then
just
also
the only car in the vicinity. And he got into an accident.
It was in park. He would call. Also, it doesn't explain any of the punch marks he has on his face. Oh yeah, he got that black eye from the steering wheel. That's conveniently in the size of a fist.
It's the airbag. Yeah,
like
in the shape of a fist.
Like I don't know. Anyone with human logic would think something's up with this.
Yeah,
but whatever. So yeah, I gave it a 1 out of 5. Didn't like it. Also, just because I'm a hilarious genius, my letterbox review of this movie says that was not swanky at all.
That was not swanky.
Funny.
That's good. Clever.
Very funny.
Tiffany, what about you?
Yes. I mean, we watched this several times when Jackson was little, and it's the worst one. But like, I had it on before when I was like getting ready the podcast, and he's like, now that he's like 14, he's older now. He's like, how come just because she's a girl, is it a bunch of guys wanting to run around me tooing her?
Yeah. Exactly.
He's like, this is so not something that would happen today. And I was like, right. That's really, yep. What can I say?
Only the difference of 20 years? No, 30 years. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. That's crazy.
He's like Daniel LaRusso got to fight off guys, and why can't he like fight off the tough girl at school? And I mean, do you watch Cobra Kai? We watch Cobra Kai, of course. And
I have not seen it, but
it's so good. But yeah, I mean, like that, this would never happen on Cobra Kai. Like, a complete SVU episode,
Yeah.
Times have changed for sure.
Oh, for sure. That was something that bothered me, was that it was like, think they might have done better with the story if it was a girl, like if it was Julie fighting another girl. Because that's kind of what it's been in the past. It's like LaRusso fighting another guy. And it's like, could have done the same thing it could have been this girl that was trying to get it, like the same concept. I would have been okay with that versus trying to, make this like really weird, like you said, like, or like your son said, like Me Too movement. Right? It's like weird.
I mean, it has to be self-defense is the only reason that a girl would learn to fight. Like, you know what I mean? Is to not get, victimized by another man.
Right. It's like that's all that goes on in our lives, apparently.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
I know. It's really funny. I was like, I'm so glad he noticed that.
Raising him right.
Doing something right.
Yeah.
There's also a lack of karate in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like
Totally.
one fight and it's the lamest fight.
Yeah, even like the one fight with Mr. Miyagi in the middle of the movie, it was kind of like shoehorned in of being like, oh, right, this is the Karate Kid. We got to put a fight in here somewhere. So let's have him beat up some rednecks.
The whole point of the fight is like you're supposed to see the trials and the struggle of the protagonist, and she doesn't even get hit.
Yeah.
Like she just annihilates him, and you're like, what? God. Like, can there be some sort of struggle so I can believe that this guy's not just, I mean, like, not saying it's not possible for her to beat him up, but he would have at least trust me, I know because I do MMA, he would have gotten a hit on her at least once. I'm not saying she couldn't win, but I'm just saying
right. Be realistic.
Be a little more realistic, even though this whole movie's not really realistic.
No.
Yeah, that whole fight scene. I was just like, oh, okay. That happened. Cool. So what would you rate it on a scale of like 1 to 5?
5. I mean, 1.5.
That's fair. That's, I think, what I
don't
rated
know what
it.
gets the star, though. I guess Mr. Miyagi gets the star.
There you go.
And Hilary's bangs, which were, that was
her clothes are so cute.
Super cute. Super
her
cute.
Outfit, yeah. I was like, the whole time, that's like the biggest thing I noticed in the film. I was just like, damn, I want that outfit. Damn, I want that outfit.
Exactly.
Well, I also rated it a 1.5. I think that what Isaiah said, the exposition is just blatantly thrown at us, which has always been something that, and with any movie, bothers me. I like putting things together myself and not being just force-fed a story. I also wanted to also add, kind of, Isaiah already talked about it too, like, were we supposed to like Julie? Because I didn't.
I know.
I was like, you're kind of a brat. Like,
not relatable at all. Yeah.
Like, as the movie goes on, she kind of redeems herself, but she's like, the first half of the movie, I was just like, I have no reason to want to watch your story because you've made nothing about you likable. I'm only watching it because Mr. Miyagi's involved, which I think if Mr. Miyagi was not in this film and they had gotten someone else, it would have been a 0.
Also, it was very bad. This is kind of unforgivable that she had nylons hanging around the bathroom, pantyhose, and like this character would never be caught dead in pantyhose. Like, I didn't see her.
Yeah, she's not this like. Yeah,
no.
That's
it was
true.
just only a device to show that, like, oh, it's intrusive to have a girl around. Yeah. And then they had a shot of like pads in the medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
I
was
like, this was definitely written by men.
I know nothing about women. Let me throw this one thing I saw that time.
Yeah.
I know. She's like, why is my makeup all over the place? And I'm like, no one can tell us you're wearing any makeup. You're not that girl. Like,
yeah, it bothered me. I think that after watching this, Daniel definitely got the short end of the stick with the fucking training. Like, she got to go for like a week straight and didn't get that bullshit wax on, wax off shit. He was just like, no, you're going to learn to do this move. You're going to learn to I bet Daniel's like, dude, what the hell? Like, I like made a business with you and everything. And this is the thanks I get. Yeah. I was like, dang, you really did him dirty. I think too that I liked the monks. I think that they're solely the reason why this got a 1.5 for me. I think that the people who played, like the actors who played them, just like made it so funny. It was cute, like them bowling and stuff like that. Whole little side plot was just like, yeah, it wasn't necessary, but it was kind of funny.
Then bowling.
Yeah, I loved it. So yeah, I gave it a 1.5. I definitely think I know it's the worst out of them all. And I don't know why they decided to do it. I don't know what the point of it was. This is the easiest way to put it.
You didn't have to do this.
Yeah. Not everything needs a remake. I just want everyone to know that.
No.
Like they want to remake the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I'm like, please don't touch that. It's fine. You can make a spin-off, but don't remake the original trilogy. That's just not
you
going
can't
to
make
go.
a spin-off. Did you not see the Rings of Power?
Yeah. That's a whole nother topic.
We're all in consensus that movie was
not good.
Worth that 7%. We agree.
Have you seen all of the Karate Kid films, Tiffany?
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course.
This was my first time. Yeah, this was my first time going through all of them. I mean, I had seen the original and the Jackie Chan one, and that was it.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
The Jackie Chan one?
Yeah, I've only seen the 84 and on.
I mean, you're really not missing much. It's just a remake.
Yeah. I can't do it. He was my first love, Ralph Macchio. He was all over my.
There was a lot of people that we could have picked there. I was like, ooh, Mr. Miyagi
or. No, it was all about Ralph Macchio for me growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, on that note,
hilarious.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you, Tiffany, for being here as well.
It was so fun.
Yes, I should say, I'm going to speak on Isaiah's behalf here. We're glad you were able to be here today. Do you want to take a second just to kind of plug yourself, let the listeners know where they can find you?
Sure. You can listen to the podcast at Look Behind the Look on all the channels, and it's on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram at Tiffany Bartok.
Awesome. Look at that. Short and sweet. Yeah, definitely go check her out. Check out her podcast and follow her on social media. You know what? While you're at it, why don't you share us with your family and friends also on Instagram so we can continue to grow and have more amazing guests on our show. Now, our next listeners episode is right around the corner. It is 2 weeks away from the day that this airs. So make sure to email us with any movie suggestions you'd like us to watch and review at silverscreensips@gmail.com. And next week, we'll be finishing up this season with the 2010 rendition of The Karate Kid with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. So we'll see how that goes. I have not seen that since I was a kid, so I remember it being good. I'm sure that opinion's going to change. Anyways, have a great night, day, morning, afternoon. See you guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.